What do you mean? Nick has something planned as always.
Dude, it just popped into my head. I had a rebuttal I wanted to say to last week that now I can't remember, so fuck it. Like, it was basically what you guys opened with when you said no love for my mom or something like that. And I remember I was actually in the car and I shouted out my response, but I'm too tired to remember what I fucking said. It was funny, I swear.
Known mother hater, Nick Tucker.
I think I just alpha Nick out of doing a cold opening, and I feel very proud of myself. I just 7-0'd you. Like, that was hilarious.
Do you guys want to sing the song now?
Yes.
1 hog, 2 hog,
2 hog,
fuck.
3 hog, 4 hog, 5 hog, 6 hog, 7 hog.
7 hogs,
you know
7
what?
hogs,
7 hog, 7 hog.
I'll save it for later because you guys can't fuck with me. I'm so deep in despair. You can't make me.
Wait, hold on. If I can't fuck with you on a 7-0 win, then like there's no fucking with you. You're unfuckable, unfuckwithable.
Fuckwittable.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty fucked up. Sooner or later, we're going to have more degrees on this podcast than listeners. That'll suck. All right.
So true, though.
Now that's a podcast title.
Yeah.
The NAFTA Podcast.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Episode 44 NAFTA Podcast. We're back, full squad. We're full strength. We have no healthy scratches going into episode 44. Michael, Dylan, Nick, myself, we're here to talk about a weekend of football. That kind of was pretty fucked up. Fucking crazy, nutty. We have some people that are pretty sad. We have some people that are probably pretty ecstatic and pretty happy. And then we got, people that are just hanging on for dear life for a title hope that they think they have. That's me, myself. Nick, I guess I should start with you. How you feel? How you doing?
I've definitely felt better, but I just came to the realization that at least when I get my ass beat, I'm a man and I show up and face the music.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought this up because we had
it's a fact.
We had no opening segment ready to go, and I was planning on at least shouting you out that I do feel like twice City has lost. I've not been able to go on the pod. And there's been one time I know for sure that Liverpool lost, and I had to get Michael's thoughts. So, hats off to you, Nick. You're a man of your word. You show up, you get your beating, and then you're gonna move on.
I've taken my 6-3 beating. I'm gonna take my 7-0 beating. I took my 4-0 beating in public with you. Yeah, and I had to go to work. Couldn't even have a beer.
That's true. That was the worst.
I don't want to make this about me, but I'm going to.
Please do so.
The Wolves lose like every week, and I'm here all the time. So like,
yeah.
Where's my participation trophy? No one
I'm just gonna say there's just an expectation that you will lose more than probably our 3 teams.
Lex and I were watching this game. It's 4-0, it's 5-0, it's 6-0, it's 7-0, and I did say though, I was like, look. We're going to celebrate this. This is great right now. We feel happy. I said it's kind of a lose. It's kind of a win-lose, though, because, A, I love that Man United was bad for so long. We beat the shit out of them. Like, whatever. They weren't a title threat, yada, yada. But it's actually really good for the podcast that it looks like maybe next year Liverpool might be back. If I don't get relegated to the second league, League 2, I'll be here. And I was like, Nick, Man United's going to be a threat. And then Alexis did look at me and she goes, what about Dylan? And I kind of just said, Dylan's funny. That's why we keep him around. It's good.
Someone has to keep a pulse of the mid-table.
Yeah. Someone has to bring us back down to earth.
Or meet us when we come down to earth.
Exactly.
That means we're having a hell of a year.
Dylan's our therapist, so like when we have a bad day, he kind of looks at us and he's like, "What the fuck are you guys bitching about? Like, are you serious?" I guess if you've been living under a rock, you missed a couple of really big results. We're gonna fly through a good amount of them and then break down 3. Speaking of Wolves, Dylan, you're part of the breakdown.
Let's
so
go.
I liked seeing that. But it was a wild week of soccer, wild week of football. Let me jump in and go through the fly-throughs. City 2, Newcastle 0. You had a goal by Phil Foden in the 15th minute and then Bernardo Silva in the 67th. A decently big win for City. Villa Palace. Anderson with an own goal in the 27th minute is the lone one for this game. Villa get 3 points on a Palace team who have not won since December 31st and have 0 shots on goal in the last 2 games. Brighton and Hove Albion 4, West Ham 0, an absolute battering. McAllister in the 18th, Veltman in the 51st, Matoma in the 69th, nice, and then Welbeck in the 89th, a 4-goal win. Brighton have lost 1 game in the new year. It was a 1-0 loss to Fulham, and we're going to have a question about West Ham when we get into it. Chelsea 1, Leeds 0. Every Chelsea fan listening to this is questioning why this is not in the bigger breakdown. They're still trash. A Fofana goal in the 53rd minute. Chelsea have spent $24 million per point this season. That is something we want to talk about. Southampton 1, Leicester 0. An Alcaraz goal in the 35th. These are just 2 very bad teams. 2-2. Forest and Everton. Brennan Johnson is the big scorer for Forest, but it started with Damari Gray in the 10th minute, Brennan in the 19th, Dakare in the 29th, and then Brennan ties it up in the 77th. And then we have today's game, Brentford, Fulham, Ethan Pinnock in the 6th, Solomon gets one back in the 39th, Ivan Toney on a pen in the 53rd, and then Matthias Jensen in the 85th. Put the game away, but there was a Vinicius goal deep into stoppage time. 3-2. Those are the games we're going to fly through. Let me get City out of the way first. It wasn't pretty. It honestly should have been 2-2. Newcastle is going to struggle to finish. They have all season. That's why they tie so many games. City's still kind of shaky, but it was a big win for us, big win for City. We keep the title hope alive, and I would love your guys' opinion, but for me right now, like, we have to win out. I truly feel this way, especially because of the form that Arsenal's on.
I would love to feel shaky and win 2-0.
Yeah. Champagne problems. I've always said this.
Listen, I don't think you have to win out, because I think the sheer fact that, and God, we play them this week, so maybe I should not say this. The fact that they had to pull off the win in the manner in which they did against Bournemouth, I think there are some tougher potential games, some slip-ups ahead. And they play you guys again. I don't think they're going to win except for when they play you and then win the title by 2 points. Like, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. I do have the one thing I want to say. I thought about this when I was on my long run today. Michael, the
Humble?
year that
Did you go to on a short run too?
Yeah, short run. You know, long. I got the marathon coming up here in New York in August. I hope you guys all come out. Michael, the year that you guys started winning and started being like formidable under Klopp, the next year when we won the title and you guys were in second, that's how I feel right now. Where it's like, if you line up City and Liverpool back then, Liverpool were going to win. They just were. It didn't matter. Liverpool were going to beat City, but City was going to end up winning the title, essentially, because of results outside of that. That's how I feel with Arsenal right now. If you put us and Arsenal on the same field, I feel super confident. I think we can beat Arsenal. I think we'll be up for that game, whatever. But I just kind of feel like, and we're going to get into it, you know, games like this Bournemouth one are reasons why teams win the title. Like, it just is. So
Yeah, for sure. But, I mean, they also play us at Anfield. I think they have like a relatively, like, they play some upper mid-table teams. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the end of the year
still.
are woofs, so you know that could just win you the title right there.
Listen,
Hell
okay,
yeah.
and I'm just saying that's forget the table. Forget what the table looks like right now, because how are you going to look by the end of the year? None of us know. But right now, you guys look pretty good. Like, Wolves look pretty good. Yeah. So I don't think that's like I don't think it's like a joke. I think like you guys could beat any team. You guys could draw any team. You guys could also lose to any
I think
team,
that's just a Premier League thing at this point.
Yeah,
Like,
that's why.
Yeah.
Why this league's the best. That's all I want to say about City. We got the Villa Palace one. I mentioned it in the opening. Palace have not won since December 31st. They've had 0 shots on goal the last 2 games. They're still in 12th, which is insane. But there's
makes
not
no
much
sense.
to say here. Yeah, makes absolutely no sense. But it does show, and Dylan will be able to allude to this, that race at the bottom's a race.
I just wanted, for this game, I wanted to call out when we were talking about the relegation battle, and I brought up Crystal Palace, and you guys kind of scoffed at me, like, no, they're good. I don't think they're good, because we're right next to them, and we're being talked about it being the race all the time. Like, there's a good chance the line catches up to them, especially if Bournemouth and Southampton keep deciding to give people games.
Has anyone actually done the math on like Crystal Palace's like results? Are we not sure that the Premier League is just giving them like a point every 2 games to keep them in 12th? Like, have we actually crunched the numbers? Because I feel like they haven't played well all year. I'm shocked they have 27 points.
And when they do play well, they end up getting a
Against
red
us.
card in said game to then make them lose.
Yeah.
1,000%.
I mean, they have 2 points
1,000%.
against us too, by the way. It's just pretty fucked up.
Yeah, we're not. We didn't know that Juventus's points that they had to give away are all going to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, exactly.
Just on the side.
Hey, do you think that they're building a ceiling? Like, no matter how well Dylan, like to Michael's point, no matter how well Wolves play, they'll just be perpetually in 13th behind Crystal Palace, no matter what happens the rest of the year.
Yes.
No, they're going to be ahead. Crystal Palace is not going to be in 12th for like 2 more weeks.
We're going to finish in 11th.
Yeah,
Probably.
which is insane. Like Dylan, honestly, before we get to you,
Probably 12.
later.
Yeah.
But no, but before we get to you, you have an outside shot of sniffing the top 10. 4 weeks ago, that wasn't a thought. 5
Europa, baby.
All right. Brighton had the 4-0 win. Like I said, they've only lost 1 game in this new year, and it was the 1-0 loss to Fulham. They look great. They look really, really good. Shout out to Caroline for picking this team on the upswing. The one other question I had was, I think there's a real possibility that we can be in a world where West Ham get relegated and win the Conference League.
Isn't that what? Well, then next year it would be like, was it Wigan that won the FA Cup and was in Europa but got relegated? Was that?
Yep.
That wasn't Martinez, was it, when he was there?
I think it was. Yeah. Same situation. Like, we're literally going to sit here. West Ham's going to be playing Europa League from the Championship, which is a death sentence, essentially.
Dude, that's so many games, first of all. And second of all, when I'm looking at the bottom 6 teams, okay, Leicester down to Bournemouth. And if there's one team that I'm confident that will not get relegated, and I cannot give you a reason, it is West Ham. I don't think there's any chance they get relegated. I don't know why. I just don't.
We've said that all year, though. And they
I know.
Like, here's
I have not wavered.
We've said it all year, and they haven't done anything, though, where it's like they have too much talent, and then they sit there and just keep laying an egg. At least with Leicester, like, just on the Leicester side, Leicester at least has a trend. Leicester loses 5 to 6 games, then, like, wins 5 or 6 games, then loses another 5 or 6, which we're currently on, and then comes back. Like, West Ham hasn't shown life, like, at all.
Yeah. I do know that, like, last pod, though, Michael and I sat there, and one of the assessments we made was, if you look at the West Ham roster, that's not a roster you think would get relegated. Like, it just shouldn't be. It should not be.
100%.
I agree with you. Michael, I agree with you. If you look at it, you're like, I feel confident in that. But we were sitting here in our preview. We thought they'd be a top 10 team. They're just not.
Yeah, they're not good.
Which brings me to the last point. How much time's he got? What has to happen?
If he loses next game, it's done. No, dude, they were gonna fire him a game ago. They're gonna fire him if he lost to Nottingham Forest.
They're gonna fire him, and Evil
He's
Nate's
gonna
take
limp
over.
He's gonna limp his way along like a rabid dog.
Who do they play next? AEK. Oh my God, AEK is so good.
All right, so they got to win. They got to win that one. They got to beat this Greek team. But in the league, they got Villa, and then they got Southampton, and that Southampton's kind of a death notice. Like if you don't win that game, you got to be gone.
I think they draw
Right?
Villa. Yeah, I think they draw Villa and beat Southampton, and he's fine again. But listen, I will say, like, Leicester is just ahead of them. And I actually, at one point, was like, Leicester's figuring it out.
Yeah.
And now they're in 15th again.
Yep.
So I guess I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. All I know is Everton's getting relegated.
Their April's not nice, especially if they win in the Europa League, because they'll have another fixture there. Newcastle, Fulham, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Liverpool. There's not many points coming out of April for them. So, I don't know, man.
Beat Bournemouth.
Can I take a quick step backwards for a minute here? You were talking about the bottom half of the table. Let's just talk about. You know what? I'm coming out firing, and I'm just gonna get ahead of this thing here. We're talking about Liverpool's gonna make top 4. Let's just take a quick look a little bit below them with some of the games we just talked about with Brighton and Fulham, and we'll be stepping into the Brentford game for a minute. Brighton catches up in games. They're ahead of Liverpool. Like this is no given thing. So enjoy your 7-0. I'm taking the first shot of the pod.
Whoa,
I don't give a shit.
whoa.
I don't give a shit that it's out of
Whoa,
order.
whoa.
And I know we're gonna have to stew on this.
You
for
sound like
10
Gary.
minutes. I'm just taking. You know what? I'm just gonna take a cheap shot while I can.
I'm gonna
That's
bring
where
everyone
at right now.
together. I'm gonna bring everyone together. Know what?
Because Brighton's got 5th spot in line right there.
Listen,
I'm coming back to Brighton right now.
Said differently, everyone's catching Spurs. That's basically what we're coming to.
Yeah.
Dude, are you looking at this schedule?
Oh no, I was just trying to throw random. I'm throwing random strays to get him out, get him ahead while I can, because I know I'm gonna have a moment. I'm gonna have a manic depressive moment.
They do have you guys at the Amex, so that's a win.
I'm manic depressive right now. Just let me have this moment, okay?
I feel like Nick was like, Caroline, listen to the pod. I'm gonna stand up for your honor on Brighton here.
Listen,
Who are you kidding? She's already.
We didn't even say
asleep
anything
right now.
bad. Did you tell her? Hold on. Did you tell her what I said? Because if not, I'm going to say it right here. Caroline, congratulations on your great pick. You picked a great team. I don't know if Nick said that out of blind rage against me. But
I screenshot and sent it to her, and she said, "Does that mean that I'm cool too?"
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Of course, no, of course.
100%.
Transitive property.
She loved it.
Transitive
She
property.
loved the screenshot. She loved the compliment.
Yeah. Transitive property of club. Michael's a socialist. I'm okay even with no job. Dylan's hilarious. Transitive property.
What am I?
You're a loser.
Okay.
It's fine.
Could have said that any better myself.
I knew exactly that's what was coming out.
You're a loser. God damn.
Speaking of losers, though, Chelsea, $24 million per point. If you add up the transfer fees and what they pay in salary, $24 million per point. And the only reason Leeds are safe right now is somehow their goal differential is better than Everton's, which I would have, if you asked me whose goal differential is better, Leeds or Everton, gun to head, I think I'd have picked Everton. I don't know, man.
Jesse Marsh knows defense.
Yeah. He's also filing for unemployment just like me. But $24 million per point is tough.
They also have a game in hand, too.
What does João Felix cost per point?
I think he is. What do we have per game? It was like $5 million per game. I do believe
not
goal.
that
If we
much.
do,
It was like 2.
It was $1 million a game.
it was $1 million a game. You're right.
Did I send? I think I only sent it to Nick.
Post red card, $1 million a game.
This guy. I think because he knows where I'm going with this. Do you want another just fun United and Chelsea stat that I saw on the internet?
Yeah.
Look at Nick.
Do you know that
Why am I here?
United conceded as many goals as Chelsea has scored since November 23rd? In one game.
Hey, do you also know that Mo Salah has more yellow cards than taking his shirt off for goals against United than we've scored at Anfield since 2018?
Also
good.
true.
You can read. Congratulations, you went to college.
Love it.
La, da, da.
So this pod's off to a ripping start. Some good news though on the American front. Pulisic's back, right?
Saving grace.
Yeah.
They need to get him out of there ASAP.
He'll be on Real Madrid next year.
No.
Yeah, I love that rumor.
Please.
Southampton, Leicester. What's to say?
Nothing. Who cares about this game?
Outside of Barb.
I'm sorry. No one cares about this.
This was like
Dude,
old
we
school.
just want James Ward-Prowse to break the record.
Yeah. Dylan.
Nope, I'm done.
No, say it. Say it.
7-0. Yeah, I have no commentary. Nick took it away from me.
Listen, I will say, it just because no one cares about this game because Southampton won. If Leicester would have won, we would have said, like, great job, Leicester, blah, 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 blah. But, like, I can't wait for Southampton to not be in this league.
I lied. Yeah. I have something to say. Southampton winning, although not good for my own fandom, makes the relegation fight even more fun. Because now, like, legitimately everyone's involved, where I kept, in my mind, I was like, Southampton's already gone. Which they still might be, but you never know.
I think that's super true. I think that the Southampton win, and especially if Bournemouth would have gotten a tie, too, I think it would have really threw some shit into the whole mixer. But Southampton and Bournemouth are bottom, 20 and 19 on 21 points. Everton in 18th on 22. Let's go to Everton. They tied Nottingham Forest, which actually at Forest, kind of a decent result. The only real notes I had on this is I know Forest has been just hanging around weirdly mid. They stink. All of their players stink. And sorry, Hank, I don't know if you still listen anymore. Everton stinks. Like, big stinks. But Brennan Johnson's got 7 goals and Morgan Gibbs White. I'm going to keep bringing this up till Dylan takes him back. 5 assists this year. Not bad.
Really good. I have two.
He
I have,
stinks.
no, he doesn't. Get out of here. I have 2 things. 1, picked up Brandon Johnson this week in fantasy. Love that.
I saw that.
Yeah. 2, a question. If Everton on 22 and 18th, Southampton and Bournemouth below them on 21, if in the next 3 or 4 weeks, Everton touch 20th, if at some point they are bottom of the league, is that it for them? Are they done?
No, because you could be 20th and still win a game and all of a sudden be in 14th.
Yeah.
Right, but I think these, like, Bournemouth and Southampton getting ahead of them in these, like, with 8 games to go, basically, like in 4 weeks, essentially 8 games to go, Everton being dead last, I think they're done. I think that's demoralizing. To be 16, 17, 18 and kind of think we're right behind, we're right there, but then to be last, to literally be dead last, I think it's demoralizing.
I think I'm figuratively going to link arms with Nick here because I feel like he's going to have my back on this. I think any other manager touches 20th, it's demoralizing. I think it just revs Sean Dyche up more.
I don't.
I think they need to hit 20th for him to actually get in his peak
Are we
form.
forgetting he got relegated last year? Like, essentially
he didn't. No, he didn't.
He literally got
fired.
Burnley. I know, but they were like in relegation when he got fired.
But he's never been relegated.
But then they got relegated.
Yeah, but Michael, this is corporate America. He did it perfectly. He left the job before it went to shit.
He's
That's
Robert.
how
No,
you do
you
it.
know who he is? He's. I'm gonna make a huge history reference here. He is Robert
I'm out.
McNamara in the Vietnam War.
Okay.
He left. He got out. Secretary, department, but technically he's not why we lost. But he kind of is. Pentagon Papers. Can't get all the credit.
I'm gonna make a topical reference here. I think Sean Dyche is Sam Bankman-Fried. I think he's a scammer. And I think he's finally going to get his just dessert when he goes to fucking jail.
I've also never seen someone. I mean, I guess Michael didn't like Daichi last year, but I feel like you're really hitting this 180 on him because he put on that blue side of mercy. You're really
I don't give a fuck about that. I don't care about Everton.
I feel like Deitch, he fits Michael's attitude and personality like perfectly. Like,
are you
hard-working,
crazy?
blue collar type guy. and Michael here sitting here on his ivory perch, sitting up there, with
Quite the opposite. Exactly the opposite.
With his suit and tie on. Michael's all, I thought he fit your personality pretty well. Oh yeah,
No.
LeBron James, real working class hero.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Do you want this to go 2 hours?
This is not the right podcast.
I'll fucking cook you.
Oh, I'm just taking shots at everything right now.
MJ's better.
Brentford 3, Fulham 2. Like I said, Pinnock had the goals. I went through them already.
Do you know Solomon scored like 5 games in a row?
I was actually, thank you for bringing that up, because it's crazy when you do these. We actually don't spend that much time talking about Fulham, but you see names that pop up constantly, and I'm like, oh man, this person has definitely been putting them in the back of the net, and we just are not even going to get to talk about it. I think that is one. Dylan, that was a great call out. I watched this game. If no team can be this stupid. There's no way that Ivan Toney should be playing football at Brentford next year. There's no way.
How is he playing today?
I don't mean like that. Yeah. That wasn't my point.
No, I know. No, that was my question. I was going to ask that question: is how is he even playing today?
Because the Premier League is more progressive than Major League Baseball, apparently. But he's good. He's so good. I think he's such a good player, and he'd be worth it. Nick, I think actually you should be sitting there being like, what do we got to do to get Ivan Toney in Manchester? Dylan, I do want to talk to you because you seem to be the most on point here. Ivan Toney's really good. I think he should get a move. I think that, Brentford's a great club, but he's pretty damn good. And I think Brentford out of those 3, Brentford, Fulham, and Brighton is the best. I think Brighton, when they're cooking, they're really cooking. I get that, but I think Brentford's the most consistent.
I think that's a wrong take.
All right, what's yours?
I think Brighton's the best out of all 3. I think Brentford and Fulham are both very good at home, where Brighton I think is good home and away, which is why I expected the Brentford result today.
I'd like everyone's take on this real quick. Are any 3 of these teams in a similar situation with West Ham, where it's like last year they were so tough and so consistent and played so well, and then this year they're just so bad that are any of these teams, if they touch Europe, are they going to fall into that trap?
Yes.
None of them have the depth.
Yeah. That's just the equalizer, right?
I think.
Go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, if they're out of Europe, if any of them, it almost would be best interest to finish 8th for sustainability, because all these teams have a very good model of sustainability. Like Brentford, obviously, with their analytics and all their stuff, and they have all their small money moves and smart money uses. But obviously, you get into Europe, you need depth, and you're gonna. Panic buy is not the way to do it, but you're gonna have to buy depth somewhere. So them or any of these teams might go out of what the model they've done. So obviously you want to make Europe super exciting, but it could. I would agree that it would fall in that category of West Ham in the last couple of years.
Yeah, Michael.
I will actually retract what I just said. Hearing what Nick said, because I actually think the one team that would be able to do it is Brighton. Because that's literally what they do, is they find guys for $2 million like Matoma, who ends up being incredibly good, incredibly productive player for nothing. And at the same time too, their one loss that you were mentioning in the new year against Fulham, the 1-0, they literally should have won that game. They beat the shit out of Fulham. Fulham got a goal in the last minute, and they lost.
I mean, yeah, with Brighton's XG, from what we talk about all the time, if they ever evolve from Charmander to Charizard, they're going to be extremely scary. But everyone else, I don't think has it. Even Fulham today, too. I think because of yellow cards, Polina was out, which, yes, which was, I think, their demise. It's the equivalent of having an injury. Anyone who has injuries with their depth is screwed. But you know what?
Yeah.
Shad Khan's sick, so maybe if they do make it, he's going to spend all the monies in the world, and they'll be fine.
This is a question for Michael. I think if this is tailored to him. If Brighton makes Europe, do they sell Caicedo? Or do they sell Caicedo, cash in, and buy more players to get more depth?
Well, he just signed a new long-term deal, so
No, I know.
I would bet that if they got to Europe, they would probably ask him, will you stay and play? And if he says, even like, let me think about it, I think they would dish him for money, and they would go find like 4 guys that equal a Caicedo and a half, basically, for like a quarter of the money.
That's what I think too. Yeah.
They're the best with money. I do think too, real quick, getting into the Conference League is not enough money to make it appealing. Like if you're talking, if one of these teams somehow is knocking on the door of Champions League, that's when it's like, this money is way too good for us not to want to get in this and try to figure it out and try to get some depth, whatever. I think the Conference League and even Europa League for these Premier League teams is like, I mean, it's a nice bonus, but it's not going to actually move the books for them and have it be a huge, huge, huge impact on that roster. The big games, the 3 big ones. Dylan, welcome to the main stage. I'm excited to have you here. Wolves 1, Spurs 0. Adama Traore, welcome back. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the show. 82nd minute goal. The lone goal. 3 points for Wolves. A team that I do feel like many times already this season, Dylan, you were like, we're screwed. We're down and out. You are in sniffing distance of top 10 and certainly, or right now in 13th. How you feel?
5 wins under Lopetegui. I think I went on this rant, 2 weeks ago? We now are at, hold on, let me check, because I think the clock reset. 3 days since a attacking forward has scored a goal in league, so that's better than over 300. We're not even playing our best football, and look at us go.
Who would have thought?
Not
me.
I'm the Paul Rudd meme right now. Look at us. Who would have thought?
I love Paul Rudd.
I
heard that movie's terrible though. So
it wasn't from a movie. It's from a show, Hot Wings.
Yeah, no, I know. He just came out with Ant-Man, and I heard it's terrible.
Oh,
Also called Hot Ones, but
Yeah.
shout out to Sean Evans. No free ads. Dylan, keep going though.
did anyone actually watch this game, or was this a Dylan special?
Dylan special.
I watched it.
Oh, a Tucker special.
Mostly because I was with my best friend, who's a Spurs fan, Michael's favorite person, and I bet money in front of him, Spurs Wolves to win plus 500, and he's looked over at me from the table and goes, "I'll fucking murder you," and I just point the phone to him and hit place bet.
There you go.
Did you ask him how it tastes?
I did.
Yeah, Dylan FaceTime us at the bar.
Ultimately, like, that was the typical Tottenham can't finish, and they left us in the game. Granted, they may have hit 3 posts in the first half, which also very much kept us in the game. But there was a point, the first 20 minutes they could have put us away. And you know when you just have that feeling that you're growing into the game and you're about to take over? Because that's exactly what happened, especially with Adama coming in at halftime. For once, he was actually a game changer. We started to see, like, 2 years ago, Adama crossing the ball to Raul, and, like, Raul actually looked like he wanted to play. I think there's a lot of positives, and also, like, the fact that it was a little jump kick for the goal, just, I don't know, it made me feel warm inside, so that was nice.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah, but in terms of actual, like, I'll not to go just on a rambling how I normally do about the Wolves, because you know what, it was nice, is that Lopetegui actually makes changes at halftime. So I think I said it a couple times before. It's about building momentum, get in more people that he wants in the summer, but we actually have a coach who knows what he's doing and wants to actually build something, which is good. I'm going to come out and say it. We're the Newcastle of this year, so watch out for us next year. And Michael, you're welcome.
I wanted to ask, my only question was if you liked him as a manager.
Yes.
Like, so
You can
based on
tell
what
what
you're
he's doing Like, there's at least buy-in at this point. I think we're going to lose Neves in the summer, which is going to be very unfortunate. But ultimately, like, what he's asking the players to do makes sense. And shockingly, it's not the typical Wolves football you're watching. Like, it's still 1-0, but it's, like, kind of exciting 1-0. Mm-hmm. So, it's a step in the right direction. Gotta, crawl before you run.
My one last question, too, and then we can move on to a couple of the other games. I don't know if you noticed, but something did happen in a different league that I know that you pay attention to the same weekend that Wolves did win. Are you a little bit worried that the success of the Philadelphia Union is also tied to Wolves? And because they lost to Inter Miami, you got 3 points for Wolves, and you're going to have to do this balancing act now.
No, because we have players on loan at Inter Miami, so it's actually good for the development for the Wolves.
Wow. Look at that spin game there.
Jeez.
Also, if you've been keeping track on the Union the past 3 years while we've been good, we come out the gate slow, especially when we're in Champions League, which we have a game this weekend. So they normally focus on that. They normally focus on Champions League. Like, we started off 1-4 and then still won the Supporter Shield that year. So they'll be fine.
All right.
Also, we have new sick jerseys.
Actually,
they're beautiful.
They almost
Bimbo's gone.
It almost got me to actually watch MLS, that jersey.
Yeah. MLS has got some real good jerseys just across the board, I feel like, this year, which...
Shout out Adidas.
Well, last year they were bad.
Yeah,
It was the first year they didn't make everybody the same stock shirt. You had to wear the same thing.
Last year was
creative.
Terrible.
Yeah. All right, let's get into now the two games with the most meat on the bone. Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 2. Bournemouth literally scored. Philip Billing scored, I think it was like 23 seconds into the game to go up 1-0. They get a second goal by Marco Senesi in the 57th. Partey gets one back 5 minutes later. Ben White, which I think this had to have been his first goal of his entire life. 70th minute. Reece Nelson on the assist, which is key for later because 7 minutes into injury time, Reece Nelson put away an absolute screamer to give Arsenal all 3 points. I'll be the first one to say it. You're going to hear us say this a lot because this is what happens when teams win a title. This is the type of game that title-winning teams win. They're down by 2. They're down by 1. They come back. They win. Each one of us has done it. City did it. Liverpool did it. Nick, you're old as hell. You remember when Man United did it. Dylan, one day it will be you. But this is a title-winning game for Arsenal.
Yeah.
So nice of you.
Very nice.
Thanks for including me.
Yeah.
I gotta say, the bar I was at that I've told you guys have been before, it's an Arsenal bar. So I literally walked in right at 9:59, was looking around for seats, and then I just hear just the collective groan. And I go, huh? And I haven't looked at the TV yet. I'm still trying to find a seat, and I look up. I was like, oh shit! But you're like, whatever. And they score again, and all of a sudden, the place is just like, oh my god. And the little icing on the cake here, just a little side story, is I had the parlay, all the 10 o'clock games, and the one I was worried about was Chelsea Leeds 0-0. Well, Arsenal goes down 2-0, and I go, fuck it, I'm going to cash out and get my money back. They come back to win, and my $10 that would have won $280 obviously only turned into $5. That turned into $30. I got so upset, I turned, slapped my Guinness by accident all over my pants.
Bad day, sad day.
So I lost $200. I did not win $200, and I spilled my beer all over my pants.
And spoiler alert, it gets worse for Nick later.
And it wasn't even. Can't even call me Miles Davis.
Also, Nick didn't listen to anything I said on the pod, or I gave you on the pod, because I went 3-1.
Yeah,
Just saying.
Exactly. Michael, any thoughts on Arsenal?
Listen, I said it in the group chat. I was watching the end of this game, the last 10 minutes. It felt like it suspiciously went on too long. Goal kick at the 96th minute. Goal kick. I saw the Arteta thing. I don't think I think he's asking for like what is it 7 minutes? Okay, they put up 6. Goal kick at the 96th minute, and I understand it's a minimum. I get that, but it seemed they had like 3 chances post 96th minute. They're into the 97th minute. Get the corner. Obviously, it doesn't. They don't get it out far enough. Scores the goal. It felt so suspiciously like it just went on too long. Like the ref was like, fuck it. Like let him get like 6 more shots at goal. That being said,
Yeah.
I like Reece Nelson.
I will say this before I let Nick go. I went deep into TikTok this weekend after your game, and then obviously you get some Arsenal fodder too. The Arsenal fans are raring to go for people to question this whole thing because they're sitting there. It's like, well, it was the Bournemouth guy that faked an injury for a minute and a half in stoppage time. They have 3 different scenarios in this game where they should have gotten a penalty or some shit.
I saw that video. Dude, I literally saw the video where he's like, or when we had 2 clear and obvious penalties against this team. We had 2 clear and obvious penalties. I was like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, it's literally, this cannot be the case. If you're sitting there saying you had like 2 penalties that they didn't give you per fucking game. Like, you are the biggest whiner for being in first place, by the way.
Yeah, win with grace. City and Liverpool did. Nick, what are your thoughts?
I would say, is this the Premier League's way of letting them back, getting their points back? Was it the Everton or was it the Brentford game when they were complaining?
Brentford, right? No.
It was when Arteta was complaining
Brentford.
like crazy, that and the handballs. Like, maybe that's just their way of getting them back.
Dude, they already got him back. They literally, again, like the referees literally said against us that they shouldn't have had 2 goals.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I will say ask this though. Like I said, I think something crazy is gonna have to happen for them not to win. Like I think they're gonna win. Like they have to.
I don't think they're gonna win. I'm sticking to it. I really don't think they're gonna win.
Anyone else?
I think they will.
Yeah,
it might get a little wobbly, but
I want them to win. I'm not all the way there. You're the boogeyman, John. I'm still scared of you guys showing back up.
Well, let's go over real quick, and then we'll jump to the main game. Their fixtures coming up. They got Sporting in the Europa League, Fulham, Sporting again, home to Palace, or they're at home against Palace, at home against Leeds, and then they go to Anfield on April 9th. I don't know, man. Michael, you were the key guy on the strength of schedule. Do you remember where they were at when you were looking at it?
Yeah, funny thing about that, because I just looked at it again, and I like moved the match weeks to obviously what they are now, and it said that we are now like we went from the easiest schedule to like the hardest schedule, which just doesn't actually make sense. I see, like if we would have played like Bournemouth. And then they said, oh, that was so easy that now you're the hardest. But we played like United, who is like top 4, top 3.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. So I have to maybe like go find a better source. But they were, when I looked, they were middle to upper, like easy, like easier schedule.
Yeah. Fake news media. It's fine. I think it's over. Dylan and Michael still on the fence. Nick and I kind of fully think that if Arsenal lose this, it's a bottle of all bottles.
No, I want to be clear. Dylan is on the fence. I am on the other side.
You think they're going to lose?
I think you guys are going to win. By like
So you think
4 points.
Whoa.
Oh my God. There's only 12 games left.
Okay, that's 36 points.
Are you prescribing yourself
Yeah.
something from class right now? Like,
No.
Jesus.
Jesus fucking hey. All right. I thought we'd have more on this one, but I guess not. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this podcast. Dylan and I are going to check out here in a second. Liverpool 7, a whole touchdown,
And extra
United
point.
0, and an extra point.
Days in a week.
Yeah, exactly. Gakpo 43rd, Nunez 47th, Gakpo again 50th, Salah 66th, Nunez 75th, Salah again in the 83rd, and the cherry on the top, Bobby Firmino no longer going to be a Liverpool player after the season, gets his last goal against United. I'll set the stage for Nick and Michael to go at it. A couple pundits I saw believe that United played better in the first half. I think that's very debatable. I think they looked okay. I don't think they played better. And then the second half was literally a United team that I just did not think I would ever see again in the back, for sure. I don't think Nick thought he was ever going to see them again. The amount of the back of the jersey I saw on Luke Shaw and Martinez was alarming. And to be honest, it's fucking wild. This is why this league is the best league. I don't think anyone had 3-0, let alone 7. So, who wants to go first is, I think, what I should be asking.
I just thought that before I'll let Michael go first, and before he goes, I just want to let him
As
know,
Nick goes first.
No, I just want him to know the mental state that I'm in. That I have been listening to Papa Roach Last Resort on repeat for 24 hours. So just keep in mind to know that the person you are speaking to, that is where their head is at. So you can have all the fun you want, but just
No.
know what Nick's I've been
doing. Nick's appeal for empathy is well heard.
I told the kids to go on YouTube and Google the topic and just listen to it while I just blast this music in the entire classroom all day at school.
You did like the drunk teacher, like we're gonna watch a movie.
Yeah.
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 All right. First off, I tried to look this up real quick. Peter Drury, who's the color guy? Arlo? Is it Arlo White?
Arlo White.
He left.
No, he left. He was the color.
Okay.
He was the guy that appeared Drury. It's not Graham Lasso, is it?
That's who it is, Graham Lasso. Yeah. He kept calling him Cody Gapco over and over and over again. And I was like, bro, like, come on. You have to have it in front of you. It's Gakpo. It's actually Hackpo, but no one calls him that. He
Really?
said it wrong every single... It's Hackpo.
Oh, interesting.
But literally no one calls him that. So, like, I don't think you have to. He said it wrong every time, though. It was just kind of funny. I have, like, this first time I've ever written anything down because I had so many different thoughts that I wanted to just quick fire. Because there's only one I really actually think is interesting to talk about. I thought Jordan Henderson played one of the best games I've ever seen him play. He picked the ball up in the back and distributed it to the front three like he has years ago. The midfield in general looked incredible. Fabinho looked great. Harvey Elliott was probably the best game he's ever played. Van Dijk and Konate there should not be another center back pairing the rest of the season. Maybe Matip, but like Joe Gomez cannot play center back. Mo Salah was the best player on the field, as he seems to be every time they play United. I don't know what it is about it, but like he is the best player on the field every time they play. Him sitting down Lisandro Martinez and then passing that ball into Gakpo was outrageous. I was watching that and I literally could not stop laughing. It was so funny. And then really the only other, I think the front three, like I think this was like the best, obviously the culmination of every best outcome that could have possibly happened to be 7-0. Like it just is not something that happens. Nunez and Gakpo were unbelievable. They all finished their chances. Getting the Firmino goal was huge. And this is the only part that I because this involves Nick too. And I'm saying this, obviously I know I'm sitting here in a LeBron James Liverpool jersey that I just received today for this occasion. I'm drinking out of a cup that has our 5-0 win from last year on it. I know I'm taking the piss out of you right now, and you have to accept it because we just won 7-0. Hasn't happened for almost 100 years.
Who did it last?
Wolves. Shout out you, Dylan. I'm sure you were a fan all the way back then. But I do want to say this because I'm trying to put myself in your situation. If I was a United fan, and I was sending videos to John, sending stuff to John about it from Twitter, from TikTok, and everything. And I'm saying this, and you know how I feel about him personally. I hate him. I think he's a bullshit player. I think he's very talented, dude, if I'm telling you right now, if I saw Jordan Henderson acting like Bruno Fernandes acted that game, I would never want him to play for me again. It was truly disgraceful how he acted.
I think Nick's writing a notes app response to you right now.
No, I'm playing with...
Listen, from the game on, he acted like he always acts, and I understand part of it. Like, and he did it the first game too that you guys won. He took the ball. He wouldn't give the ball up. He just like held on to it longer than any player has ever held on to the ball. They all do it, but he just does it worse. He does it worse than anybody else, and he did it in a win. And I understand like that aspect of the game. It's not going to go away. You have to accept it in some respect. I don't know if he was signaling to come off the field. A lot of pundits were saying that he was. Okay, you're saying he wasn't. I don't know.
I watched like 8 videos of it. It didn't look like it.
Okay. He definitely gave up when he tried to get the ball from Baccetic and then just stood there. And that was the point late in the game where I was like, absolutely unacceptable. Captain of Manchester United. You cannot do that. It's the same way for Liverpool. If I saw my captain do that, I would literally say I don't want him to ever play again.
I'm not going to say that.
Nick's like we need him.
Like this is because obviously like I didn't just on Twitter Live today. It's like, what do you like? I agree with you. Like he shouldn't have done the shit. Like I didn't even really know about the ref pushing thing. It wasn't really pushing. The referee did grab him first, like, and he kind of like pushed him to the side. Like I'm not saying that's not a defense of what he did or the referee, but like he gets a lot of shtick, and I agree. He's a guy that you love to have on your team. You love him, and if he's not on your team, you fucking no, you hate him. But
I'm saying if he was on my team in that moment, I would have hated him.
Yeah, like, probably. But I mean, he's a really passionate, competitive guy. Like no one likes getting your ass whooped like that. Like.
But listen, it's different. It's different if he's just a guy on the team.
No, it's not. There shouldn't be a difference.
He's the captain of the team.
You can't hate on. Yeah, he acts this way all the time. All of a sudden, this is typical British bullshit. Like everyone overreacts like crazy. It's like all of a sudden you lose one game. It's like, oh my god, the season's over. Like that's like a general thing. The British are like, so now like what we've been winning and everyone compliments him all season. That he's the reason why he's more fiery. He gets the guys playing. He's playing them accountable. His passion. They're calling him passionate and all these things. All of a sudden, it happens one time. Like I don't disagree with you. You say I thought it was embarrassing, but like he's gonna make a mistake and you move on. Like it's just people that want to make clips and news and make their little 5-second TikToks videos like just to get attention. Like it's not.
Yes. So keep it going.
Yeah, I will. Guys. I will.
Listen, what I'm trying to say though is like this. If there's any moment, I got
it figured out. I'm gonna cut you off.
Okay,
put your hand up to the webcam there, to the cam there for me, please.
This is great content.
Yeah, no. I want knuckles, please. Like, put your knuckles out for me. Yeah, I'll just kiss your ring of the Liverpool, greatness, and we'll just say move on. So
now you're getting to the other point where you're pulling a Gary Neville, who literally said that you absolutely cannot lose the game 7-0 no matter what. You can't lose. And then when they tried to analyze the game, he just sat there and go, "Oh, congratulations, you got 3 points. Oh, great win. Congratulations. Oh, you got 3 points." Like he didn't give a shit when before he was couldn't stop talking about it. So listen, and I'm just gonna say, I give Luke Shaw credit because Luke Shaw at least almost could have given up 2 penalties with how he was like tackling out there. But he was at least trying. Like, he was at least trying to stop balls from going in the back of the net, trying to defend. That's where I put my foot down. This is the one game where it does matter. The one single game where it does matter, where you can't say, well, it's just a game. It isn't. Like, not for anybody on either of these two teams, it's not. You can't act like that during the game.
In my wealth of experience with my well-documented old age on this podcast, I would like to say that there's 2 ways this goes. And the old head in me is sitting here saying that Ten Hag did what he did after Brentford. He ran the crap out of them, the whole thing. Today, he made them sit down and watch Liverpool players' celebrations in audio in silence at Carrington at 9 a.m.
Such a high school coach thing, by the way.
I think that's fucking. I think that's worse than running, to be honest with you.
so.
But there's one of two ways to go. Like, it sucks. You wear it. You eat it in the moment, and you can dwell on it, or like you're just gonna have to just take it and you move on. And you know what? Like you rip into them after the game, whatever, and you say you better show up to work tomorrow. And you better show up to work, because Batiste is gonna come in, and and Southampton's, whatever. Like you go that. It is what it is, man. Like, we played like shit in the second half. We ate it. That really sucks. Let everybody have their go. And then you want to be, he talks about being unprofessional, which I agree with. Well, let's be professionals. Let's get our shit back together. Put your hard hats back on and go back to work and take care of business on Thursday. It's simple as that. Like, they acted how he acted. You deal with it in the locker room.
I think he's going to cook his ass.
I wouldn't surprise. It wouldn't surprise me if he benches him. But it's just everyone's making too much of everything. We're in third place.
I don't think that's the case.
We're in third place. If you told me we're in third place this late in the season, and I have to take one ass beating like this, I'll eat it. I'll take it. It's fine. Like I'm not gonna get worked up over it.
I want to ask like an actual analytical question though for this game. Nick,
we suck. Yes.
How do you next season? You got an entire transfer window coming up. You have to be purchasing someone not named Wout Weghorst to help out with Rashford.
I actually wanted to send you guys. They had a whole Qatari takeover lineup next year, and I said, "Oh wow, this definitely screams financial fair play all over it."
Yeah, but I think like we mentioned it before, like and Ivan Toney is I forget who I was seeing say this. The fact that we are Manchester United, you are Manchester United, and your big signing at January, and on this podcast even, it's been well documented. They're obviously trying to sell and trying to, they're not going to buy things just like Liverpool won't. But your big signing was the guy who scored 3 goals last year, and like that's not very United. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wasn't the big signing Anthony?
Well, but the January one. I'm just saying. I don't know.
No, it's. Ideally, you sign either Sabitzer or another central midfielder, You have to sign a striker, and I'd argue you need another center back because Varane's on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah,
still great, but he's obviously injury prone and stuff. But you need a central midfielder. I'd argue you need a striker and a winger. And you definitely need a central defender. Yeah. And probably a keeper.
Yeah, I think
and that has nothing to do with De Gea is getting better with his feet. I mean, they get into this stuff, but he's got another year or so.
For a shot stopper, he doesn't stop many.
I don't know how much. I mean, we don't need to get that, but yeah, it's just proof that we're still not. I mean, we're back, but we're not. As I said, we're not back. Like, no, I
hate. We're back.
We're not like.
I just hate that it's so. We're not, but we're not. We're back, but we're not.
No,
back,
but like
back.
we're not like we're not sitting here wallowing like we had the last few years. Like even though we got I feel totally fine going into Betty. I feel totally fine going into Saturday or Sunday next week. Like it sucks, but like we have a manager that he's going to put his foot down. He's going to. I have full faith he'll take care of business and we'll be fine. I'm not. If this was Ole or anybody else, I'd be like, oh fuck, like we're gonna finish in 12th.
I think you can definitely hang your hat on you guys being ahead of schedule. Yes, what I think you're trying to say.
Yeah,
Michael, I'm gonna ask you something in a second, but Nick, last thing, I think that you're actually a very realistic Man United fan. The conversation that happened this week on the internet that I'm sure you did not see because you're not on the internet like Michael and I are, or even Dylan. The talk about a quadruple is the most diluted shit I had ever heard in my entire life, and I'm glad it only lasted for 2 days.
Thank God that shit's over.
Yeah. Dylan?
Until you're mathematically out of it, I think you can still talk about it.
ESPN will. ESPN's been talking about it for like a month and a half.
They're the worst, man. They're the worst.
It's literally that's actually clicks. That's actually clicks.
Yeah. Michael, we mentioned this with Nick just a second ago. Is Liverpool back?
No, we're not. We're not.
Is Texas?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Because this is the last thing I'm gonna say about United and then Liverpool and everything else. I think Ten Hag had a bad game. I think he tactically was. I don't know why Marcus Rashford is not on the left, going after Trent Alexander-Arnold all game. Doesn't make
good
any
game for
fucking.
Sancho to play too, and he didn't play.
Anthony did not play any defense. Did not track back at all. Fernandez again, not going into the character stuff. He was bad. Played horrible. Casemiro was.
It was
fine,
it was statistically the worst game he's played. 0 tackles, 0 interceptions. This is the point that he was atrocious, which just proves how important his play is. Yeah. It was brutal.
I think in a weird way, United went from, in my opinion, a 95% chance at finishing third. I think they're at 75 now. I think there is a chance if they do not, the next couple games, I don't know who they play. If they do
we
not,
should win 5 out of 5.
Okay, so if you don't, or not, I'm not even saying if you don't. If you win 4 and lose and tie 1, then I don't think you're not going to finish in third. But if the next game, like we were saying a couple weeks ago, the next game is the most important game. If you stumble in that game and the teams below you start to pick up a little bit more points, it's going to get a little tougher. And I think I said it on the pod last week when we were talking about this game. I think a little bit, at least statistically, you guys have been punching above your weight a little bit. And I think that it could all come down if Ten Hag doesn't get everybody back in line.
I'm going to make a statement here. We're going to win 9 of our next 9 games, including
all comps.
All comps, 9 for 9.
Let me run through them because I got them ready to roll. Betty, Southampton, Betty again, Fulham, Newcastle, Brentford, Everton, Forest. I don't
Chelsea.
hate that. Chelsea. Oh,
I see 3 speed bumps.
I see 4.
What are you?
Betty twice is not going to be easy at all.
I didn't say it was going to be easy.
Yeah.
Brentford and Fulham. Well, where is it at? At Brentford or at Fulham either?
At Brighton. And
Brentford's home.
Fulham's at home. Newcastle's away.
That's going to be tough too.
Yeah. Brentford's at home. Sorry.
We believe in you.
Yeah.
That's all I need to hear. I'll be able to
You
sleep
go,
fine
little
tonight.
guy.
I'll be able to sleep just fine tonight because you said that, Dylan.
Yeah. Sorry, the Brighton game is canceled and getting moved. I just saw that. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right. United, Liverpool. Never a lack of content, never a lack of stories. I should make at least 4 TikToks out of this. Thanks, guys. That's the ep. Dylan, you didn't get to speak for 20 straight minutes, so get us out of here with a joke because we got bets coming in the second ep this week.
You don't want any Champions League bets?
Oh, no, day. More bets, the more bets, the merrier.
I want to play a quick hypothetical.
You better make it quick.
If Pulisic starts, do you think Chelsea can actually score a goal?
No. No.
Okay. Under 2.5, Chelsea, Dortmund, -105. Because Vegas seems to think that there's going to be goals in that game.
No. If you watch that Chelsea game, they still suck. They still suck.
I don't disagree.
And Dortmund's much better than Leeds.
I know.
Dortmund has won
Leipzig
10 since they've come back from the new year. They're 10 of 10.
Yeah.
Which means if I'm gonna be a superstitious guy, you're due to get tripped up at some point. But that's why
they might draw. I don't think they're gonna lose. They're playing really, really well.
Thank you. Which leads me to double chance Dortmund tie or draw -110.
Tie or
teamwork,
draw?
Michael.
Winner
Winner
draw?
tie minus 110.
There you go.
I like it.
And then finally, we're gonna go to. You never want to play a team from Portugal in the Champions League. Benfica total team corners over 6.5 minus 105.
Who are they against? Let the people know.
Club Brugge.
Club Brugge.
Who they
Love it.
put a beat down on
Yeah.
in the first leg.
I like all
And
these
they're home
bets.
now.
Nick, I think you
Quit.
should prescribe to him.
Yeah, I'm
Subscribe?
literally on DraftKings as we speak.
You could prescribe or you could subscribe. Either or.
I would prescribe.
I might self-medicate tonight, but you know.
Quick question. Do both in this Tuesday, Wednesday Champions League match? Do both English teams go out?
Yeah.
I agree.
I could see it. I'm more curious, and I didn't touch it from a betting perspective. I really, because all the plus monies with PSG, and I really want to take them. I just feel like it's tough to go against Bayern.
Yeah. On the English perspective, Michael, I think we have the best chance of going through, and I think it's going to be a fucking tough game.
Yeah, we have no chance.
Yeah. Get your laughs this weekend, though, huh? There you go.
We're gonna tie Bournemouth. I can't wait.
Yeah. All right, Dylan. Get us out of here.
All right. I had 2 jokes lined up, and they both were gonna hurt Nick's feelings. And one's a clean shot to the head, and the other one would be very complex.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm gonna go for the simplicity one, and I'll tell you guys the one afterwards for a mid-credit scene. So, Michael, what is Liverpool's favorite soda? 7-Up. Cheers.
The NAFTA podcast.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.